Hello everyone, welcome to AcademyHub. This is the first lecture of my lecture series, Understanding the Constitution. So today I will deal with the introductory part of Indian Constitution and fundamental rights as well. So starting with the introductory part of Indian Constitution. It started in the year 1946. On 9th of December 1946, the first meeting regarding the Constituent Assembly was held. And on 11th of December 1946, Dr. Rajendra Prasad was elected as chairman. Now moving forward, on 29th August 1947, the drafting committee comprising of 7 members was set up under the chairmanship of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. If we conclude, this Constituent Assembly sat for 2 years, 11 months and 18 days. Our new constitution was adopted on 26th of November 1949, and there were few provisions which came into force immediately, but there are other important provisions which were left out, and it came into force on 26th of January 1950, and this 26th of January 1950 is known as the date of commencement of our Indian Constitution. If we talk about fundamental right, then it came to India later on, but globally it was expanded all over the world. Way back in the year 1215, the existence of fundamental right was seen for the very first time through Magna Carta, which is a written evident document where it discusses about those English people who exacted their assurance from King John regarding ancient liberties, which led to Bill of Rights, which is another written document consolidating of all the rights and liberties of every individuals. But this consolidation of rights and liberties of every individual led to Declaration of Rights of Man and Citizen in 1789. This Declaration of Rights of Man and Citizen in 1789 declares the inalienable, sacred and natural rights of every individual. But the most important thing which need to be noted down is that Americans were the first to provide Bill of Rights a constitutional status. Now moving forward, in the Indian context, if we talk about fundamental rights, the most prominent judgment which come in our mind is Maneka Gandhi versus Union of India, where a learned judge, Justice Bhagwati, observed that these fundamental rights protects dignity of every individual and provides an opportunity to every human being to develop his personality to the fullest extent. Now the other question arises is why these fundamental rights are essential. For the attainment of every individual, his full intellectual, spiritual and moral status, fundamental rights are essential. Now the most prominent question arises here is what was the objective behind the inclusion of this fundamental right in the Indian Constitution? Everything has an objective for the inclusion. So the objective behind the inclusion of this fundamental right in the Indian Constitution was very clear and precise, because they wanted to create a government of law, not of man. So creation of government of law, not of man, led to inclusion of fundamental rights in the Indian Constitution. And if we talk about fundamental right in Indian context, the most prominent case which comes in mind is A.K. Gopalan case, which says that every article of this fundamental rights is separate and distinct. Each article defines different things. They are not related to each other. So they are mutually exclusive. Whereas Maneka Gandhi versus Union of India case denies this fact. It says that they are not mutually exclusive, but they form a different set of scheme in the Indian Constitution. Moving forward, you'll be very surprised to know that nothing is universal. Similarly, our fundamental rights are also not universal. There are few articles which discusses about suspension of our fundamental rights. And those two articles are Article 358 and Article 359. If we talk about Article 358, it says that during the proclamation of emergency, all the rights provided under the Article 19 are automatically suspended. And if you talk about Article 359, it empowers President to suspend all the rights of the citizen to move to court for the enforcement of every fundamental right except Article 20 and Article 21. This was all about the today's introductory lecture, where we discussed many different things of constitution and fundamental rights as well. Now, in the next lecture, we will deal with part 3 of the Indian Constitution, starting with the most prominent part, Article 12.